Live?
We're doing it live.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
I don't want to fuck my microphone. That'd be weird.
I mean, you can do whatever you want to do.
Not even sure how that'd be possible.
I mean, I feel like your microphone would fuck you.
It probably will fuck me. I mean, electronics just fuck me over all the time.
Get pegged by your microphone.
Oh, this thing is way too big for my asshole, I think. But, hey.
There's only one way to find out, Sammy.
Oh, no, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. I don't care. I do not have that big of a commitment to this channel to be anally raped by a microphone or anything for that matter. Well, guys, welcome to Geeks with the Podcast, presented by Geeks with Issues. I'm Sam.
I'm Tom.
And we obviously got some issues.
Yeah. And a lack of sleep.
Yes, a lack of sleep. So how are you doing today, Thomas?
I'm doing all right. I'm here. I'm alive.
Yes.
Drove around for my job.
That's what you do?
It is part of what I do. How about you? How are things with you?
Pretty good. I got to work from home all week because my boss's wife was out of town.
No.
Yeah.
Makes sense, I guess.
I guess so too. I don't argue about it. I just do it. So it's been nice to work at home and be able to go outside and actual kind of nice spring weather we've been having.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little late, but it's finally coming around. We had after, a snowstorm.
Yeah, the random snowstorm on Monday after it was like 80 degrees last weekend. Well, I don't know how it was here because I was in Pennsylvania and it was 80 degrees in Pennsylvania. It was beautiful.
I don't remember again. It got pretty warm. On Friday, it was maybe got up to 70s. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it was warm enough.
Saturday, it definitely hit 80 degrees. I was walking around, no shirt on, fishing in the stream, walking in a stream. It was great. I haven't walked in a stream in forever. I feel like I don't need waders right now until fall now.
Right. Oh.
But it's great. So that saves me $500.
Right. Yeah. No, they're not cheap.
Especially
a decent pair.
Exactly.
And then like I told you, I don't know, getting you a pair that would be light but isn't gonna just be like ice on those rocks.
Exactly. Yeah, I just wear my Vibrams and I walked right out into the stream with my shorts on. I was fine. I loved it.
There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, I digress. That's how it's been for the past week. So it's been kind of nice.
Yeah, it's this next week's looking pretty good. Supposed to get up to like 65 I think I saw 68 at one point on Monday.
I'll take it. I will take it.
And then it's like it gets back down to like the 50s and rains on like Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
But
I can take the rain. I can take warm rain over
right,
cold
yeah.
rain.
I'll take like a 50-degree day with rain at this point.
Oh yeah.
Over the snow we've been getting.
It's worth it. The plants need it.
Yeah. And there's a toy got underneath the door.
Yeah, Flatface really wants to get that toy underneath that door. His face like fits right up against that door.
He can get the closest to the door out of everyone.
He's got that proximity. He's got that reach with his non-existent face.
Yeah, it's
entertainment.
He's just gonna push his face further in though.
Yeah. Oh, my cats, they're weird.
I get distracted easily.
I get distracted by the cats too, especially that flat face. So, in other news, what has been happening in the world recently?
Well, today there was another school shooting.
Yep.
Surprise.
I feel like we talk about one of these every goddamn podcast.
Probably. I feel like it's just it lines up. There's one almost every week.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, not just that we have to talk. I mean, we don't have to talk about it, but it just comes up every goddamn time we end up doing a podcast.
Right. I mean, like, and then this one, it was one kid who got shot by a former student. I don't know what all like the altercation may have involved, or if it was even just an accident on the shooter's part. But the kid got shot in the ankle.
Oh,
that's
fucking hurt.
Yeah, like I guess it depends on. They said ankle. I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't know
how bad that is, but like to me, I'm thinking the joint and just the damage that causes.
That ball that's right there, like just shattering every fucking bone in your ankle. There's no way you're recovering from that fully. No way.
Right? Yeah.
It would be horrible. I wouldn't be able to hike anymore. Well, I might maybe eventually, but man.
Yeah, no. I mean, you would probably be able to hike eventually, but it would be a pain.
Huge.
It would hurt so bad.
Oh, hurt so bad. I imagine that has to be one of the worst places to get shot. Because I mean, you get shot in the head, most of the time you're dead.
Right.
But I guess that sucks. But it doesn't hurt as bad, I assume.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not gonna be a fun one. Well, it kind of gives me a reason to talk about this. What do you think about teachers getting like them arming the teachers with guns, or like a select few teachers with guns, or however that works.
Now, see, I think it's kind of dumb if like, oh, let's just give this random teacher a gun and make them get training. But if there's a teacher who is out there, has proper training already, has a CCW, maybe that's okay. Maybe that's okay. But telling a teacher, we need X percentage of you to go out and get this training, that's not right. No one should have to be forcibly trained to have a gun unless they want to.
Right.
And that's my viewpoint on it. Because especially if you're forced into that training, I don't believe you're going to have the reactions that you need to have when it comes down to using that.
Right.
Or just anything in that situation. Or also just having the guns in the school in some place, like locked away in a drawer or anything like that. Like, not a good idea.
Right.
Carrying a CCW on person and no one else knowing what that teacher has, I could see it. Like, there's a couple of teachers at our school that we went to that I could see, yeah, I'd trust that man with a gun, for sure, or a woman with a gun.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them strong-ass women that were taught by in school that I could say, I'd let you have a gun in class and I wouldn't care. But there's also the fact that a teacher can be overpowered like anybody else.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's an issue. I mean, so I'm just not I'm not for it at all. There's no reason for teachers. Well, first off, where are the schools getting the money to give teachers, even if a handful of them, guns and to put them through training, because they can't even give them enough money to get their fucking supplies.
Exactly. I still believe in trained security.
Yeah. It's a whole another topic if we want to talk about it another time. But the idea of giving teachers guns to me is just ridiculous, because they don't even have enough money to get. They have to pull out their own paychecks to buy their supplies for their kids.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, why are you not giving that money to them to get the supplies they need? First off, secondly, if the gun is in a locked drawer, there's plenty of kids who have picked locks who can get in there and get it.
Oh yeah.
I remember how bad kids were in my grade, and they just get worse over time.
Exactly.
How easy would it be for a teacher to flip out and pull out a gun on a kid? Even just a threat.
Yes.
Like, and that now that teacher is gonna lose their job, probably be arrested, put in jail, or whatever. They're going to be fined. They're going to be labeled after that.
Yeah, and that's actually something I didn't even think about.
Like that, and I mean, and kids will push. Like, there are kids who will push every single button until they get a teacher to snap.
And that is their goal.
Yeah, I mean, and there were teachers even in our school. I mean, that who would snap and like grab a kid or do something like that. But at least, it's not a weapon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, the teacher can still get in trouble. Teacher can still lose her job for putting hands on a kid no matter what, but it's not a weapon.
Yeah, they can't actually fully kill the kid right out there. Like, at
Right.
least you grab a kid, there could be other people run up and defend them.
Right.
If you have the gun and you turn on a kid, that's not good.
Or like the first teacher that sees a fight and pulls out the gun to stop the fight.
True. I didn't even think about that one
Like-
either, because there were so many fights in my school.
I mean,
used
the
to have-
kids went through glass.
Yes, went through glass. There would be teachers running over, multiple teachers grabbing one kid off people, or like
Right.
there's our one history teacher who was a big man. He laid on top of kids. He literally laid on top of kids until more people could come and help.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, that's the thing is, and that's where I look at it. Like, giving a teacher a gun is just. It's bad, because if at some point that teacher has a mental breakdown or something, that can cause a problem. Another student could get the gun. Like you said, the teacher could be overpowered. You're actually putting the weapons in the school so the kid doesn't even have to bring in his own. He can just take theirs.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that just creates a bigger issue. And then we can transition this over into the next thing of like, there are more and more teachers, and maybe not more and more, but more like recently there was the principal here in Bedford for an alternative school who was just arrested for having sex with one of her kids, one of the students.
Yeah.
And now if you add a gun to that scenario.
Yeah, a kid
now it's not just the teacher has more power than them and like influence wise because they're the principal or the teacher, but now they have a weapon to coerce them with or to threaten them with.
And the wrong teacher have that weapon and is seduced by a kid. Because I actually don't know what happened in that situation if the kid seduced her or which way it went.
Yeah, I don't know all the details of that one. I mean, it doesn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because she's the adult, so she's at fault. So whether she feels like he seduced her, he's the minor. He doesn't actually take any fault.
Yes,
that's the way it goes. And it's just you add a gun to that scenario.
It complicates things way too much.
It makes it way worse. Even if the gun isn't used, the idea that the teacher or principal has a gun, like for work use, creates a bigger issue.
I agree. Agree.
Because then like the student knows, oh, that teacher has a gun. If I don't do it or they may feel it doesn't even have to be explicitly said. They could feel like, well, if that teacher has a gun and I say no, what are they going to do to me?
That's true. Yeah, because there's kids who are very what's the word? Submissive, no matter what, and that could add to a level of that. I'm going to be that quiet kid in the back because I don't know what the fuck this person is capable of.
I mean, you had the one teacher. I don't know, it may have been like 6 months ago now, who ran away with the student. They found him in like a cabin somewhere.
A cabin in the woods.
Yeah, pretty much. But they like some dude was doing grounds work and noticed the stuff and called it in. Could you imagine if that guy had a gun when he was taking that girl? Like,
yeah,
you're adding
it escalates the situation.
Yeah, it's just an escalation that doesn't need to happen, and I think it's just ridiculous. And you know the stupid things that people do are just astronomical. I mean, we both have done stupid things. So we can easily admit that we've done stupid things.
In my drinking days, for sure, like, there's no reason I should ever been near a firearm. And there's good reason why I would have never trusted myself with a firearm. And I consciously knew that. I consciously knew, like, would be a bad idea if I was to go out and buy a firearm right now or anything like that. So, of course, stayed away from them. And, I mean, it's not only physical training with a firearm, it's mental training.
Oh, yeah.
You need to have the mental stability and the mental thought processes to be able to not execute, because that just sounds like a bad term when you're talking about this.
That's a poor choice of words in this conversation, Sam.
But, to properly execute your emotions and your training when it comes to that point in time of needing to use it.
Right, but you also then, not just you need to have the mental fortitude to continue to hold those standards, because when those standards drop is when these issues happen.
Exactly, because I'd get shaky if I was holding a gun and it was getting to be that time, and that's one of those things. You never put your finger on that trigger till you're ready to pull it.
Oh yeah,
like never, ever, ever. Even if you pull your gun, you aim it and you don't put your finger on that trigger until you know your life's in danger or something of that sort of nature, because you get trigger, I don't want to say happy, but nervous or anything like that, you can pull that trigger. And especially with auto loaders nowadays, it's less than a 3-pound pull most of the time. 3 pounds is nothing, and you could just shake and pull the fucking trigger and kill someone.
Oh yeah, I mean that's happened plenty of times, just with kids getting a hold of their parents' guns.
Yeah, and that's why I'm also an advocate of the revolvers, because with revolvers, I mean, at least most of them that need a double trigger pull, it is a lot heavier of a pull to actually be able to fire that weapon. It usually double of what an autoloader is.
Yeah. But from people self-defense to awesome things in nature and self-defense is there. Well, not really much of a self-defense. They've discovered a new species of exploding ant.
Yeah.
They've got like 15 species I was just reading of exploding ants.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Mother Nature created its own suicide bombers.
Well, think about this, though. We also have fungi that essentially creates zombie ants.
Yes. It's crazy. Like, ants are the weirdest things ever and the coolest.
Oh, it's insane. Well, you've got ants in the jungle that there's so many of them. it looks like the floor is moving
Yes. Yeah, and
as they traverse through the jungle.
I've watched so many documentaries on ants because I'm just fascinated with them. I think they are probably the closest, even though they are mostly drones and not like actual thinking for themselves. I think they're one of the closest things to human society that you can
I mean,
find.
they're considered a super species.
Yeah.
Just due to the versatility and the things that they do and what they'll.
Yeah, they work together.
Right.
They fight wars for territory.
Yeah.
Like it's just insane what they can pull off. And like in South America, a lot of the times, and in some places in Africa, depending on the species of ant, they welcome them into their buildings because they know they'll clear out every little fucking bug in every corner and all that. Like, oh, the ants are coming in to clean up in spring now. Spring cleaning ant time, great.
Right.
And they're just such a diverse insect.
Yeah.
Anthropod? No. I can't think of the correct name, and I'm not going to try to sound smart, so I'm just going to stop there.
I'm not like I caught this. I'm not a huge insect person, but it was just such a cool thing. Like they explode and they don't actually explode, but the way that they blow up and they I guess probably get pop, but they have toxins and stuff that they secrete when they do that out of the glands, and that's what happens.
Some acidic type of material,
and so it's interesting to see what they have. I mean, there's one with this really weird face that it uses to block entrances within the colony, like when they come in. So they've dubbed it the doorkeeper, but it also has an exploding factor as well.
That's crazy. I mean, ants are the ultimate. I think communist community would be correct. They're all for the greater good, like the Tao.
I mean, they work for the colony, but they don't. I mean, they lack free will.
Oh
so
yeah, exactly. Wouldn't that be the ultimate communism
Probably.
type deal? Not socialism, communism.
Yeah.
I don't know. I shouldn't get too political sciencey because I know someone will be like, "Oh, you're wrong about that."
I mean, I'm wrong about everything.
Yeah,
so I'm okay with
exactly. We got issues.
that. They didn't say I was smart.
We try to be educated.
I don't know. They're cool. I mean, I guess part of the fascination with ants reminds me of Zergs.
Yeah.
Being a StarCraft person, running around with the Zerglings and the hive mind and all of that lore behind it.
And that's pretty much what they are, like this giant alien species of insect.
Right, except they're not, going planet to planet devouring everything.
Unfortunately, I mean, how crazy would that be if we had hive? Well, actually, fortunately, we don't have hive fleets out there devouring us, and like the Tyranids just eating everything up to gain more energy for themselves.
Right. Yeah. Don't know that I want. Don't know that I want that. Also, if I start seeing creep, I'm done. Like I quit. I'm walking away. There's nothing I can do.
I mean, that boggy, nasty little organic world-eating fungi that just spreads everywhere. You don't want that to just touch you?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It might tingle a little bit.
Yeah.
Be weird.
I'm sure somebody would try it and I can get high off of this and try it.
Oh, of course. I mean, people tried crocodile. Shit that literally injected into you and it made your skin fall off. People are weird.
Yeah. They are.
Chasing that next high. I never could go that far. Yeah, so speaking of the Zerg, you took a dive.
I did.
A deep dive.
Did.
Actually, not too deep of a dive, though, because I had a friend who gifted a lot of nids. Yeah, you got donated about half an army.
I did.
You got lucky.
I did. Which, by the way, Connor, right?
Yes, Connor.
I want to say thank you to Connor. I don't know if he's going to, if he listens to this or knows anything about this, but I very much appreciated that. Did not expect it. Was not expecting a donation of that magnitude, of any kind of magnitude, actually, because I figured he would want something back. Didn't know how much he would want, but
I gave him a fly fishing reel and line, so he'll be happy.
All right.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting it either. He started once again into fly fishing. So, you can have some line to tie flies onto to catch fish with insects for giving my buddy some insect models. Somehow that ties together. I don't know how. Maybe with the line.
Yeah, maybe you could. What if we made a lure out of a Tyranid?
That'd be funny. I wonder what I could catch with it. I bet you there's some dumbass bass out there.
I mean, there's got to be something. It'll be like, oh, hey, look, that looks like it might be edible.
Yep. So Tom is taking the deep dive into 40K. He's decided to play, but with the bugs.
Yes, trying with Tyranids.
Mm-hmm.
I've decided that if I'm going to do this, I'm going to take my StarCraft enjoyment and I'm going to go Zerg Rush.
And that's the best way to do it. Like, play the game and play it in your own way and have fun with it. And that's what the most thing about 40K is. Like, there are rules on how to play, but really take it into your own. Make your own goals for it. Do whatever. Like, just have the thematics in your head. Make it a narrative. And that's the best way to play it. Like, I played my buddy Justin today. Shout out to Justin 2 Minutes. Check it out. Put a link here. He does some 2-minute videos and just real quick, a couple of times a week. They're actually really good. Covers all sorts of different topics. But I played him today, and we talked about the bugs and gave some suggestions for what you could do, how to make that Zerg swarm really, really count and hit hard. Because I'm probably going to call them Zerg when you play it.
That is what I call them almost all the time.
Exclusive.
It's natural to me. I look at them, and I like half of them do look like Zerglings, and I just go, yeah, this is Zerg.
But yeah, he gave me some tips of what you could do and how you can make your rush really effective. Get some of those gargoyles, get one of those swarm lords, and just make everything move up the table and scare the shit out of your opponent and be like, what do I need to target? Because if I don't target that, that's going to hit me. But if I don't target that, that's going to hit me too.
Right.
So what the fuck do I do?
You might kill the big guy, but the little ones will come in mass.
Exactly. I already like your thought process of how you're thinking about it. You think tactically, and that's good that you're picking up an army that you're like, shit, that's how I want to play it.
Yeah.
That's
It just makes sense. And like I said, I mean, I told you if I can end up finding some of the pieces that are hard to find at this point, and create,
so good.
if I could create an artillery line in the back to cause issues while I'm pushing forward, that's what I want to do.
Shoot little spore mines out at things, and the best part about them is even if you miss with the spore mines, they land next to the thing you're shooting at, and they still hit anyway.
Right.
Fucking goddamn Tyranids, you're insane this edition. Oh, but that's why I'm gonna love playing against him, because it's gonna be a challenge, but a fun challenge, and like that's why I like playing my buddy Justin, because no matter what, we both are on like the same level. We like the randomness of the game. We don't specifically like to say we're going to play this. You bring your best army, I'm going to bring my most competitive army, and we're going to fight it out. No, we just, let's do this. Let's make it random, and let's see who wins.
Right.
And I don't know. We always just have fun playing the game. We make up thematic shit. Like, I'm going across the table. I'm like, okay, he shot. And then we just start singing that song, shot.
Yeah.
And we're the dumbasses in the game store everybody's looking at. And we're just yelling about dumb shit and doing everything. And he's like, I don't know how old he is, but he's an older man with a family. But I think I enjoy playing the game out of anybody I've playing with him, because we just get dumb and fun with it. And it's just a great time.
Nice.
Yeah, unfortunately I did lose. He didn't play his Tyranids today, but he played his Astra Militarum Scions, which is like the elite human type things that aren't the Space Marines. And didn't get my ass handed to me. We lost 12-9, so I felt good playing my Tau. My gun line stood up. He wiped everything off the board. He only had 2 units left on the board, I think.
wow.
I had like 4. So, but we played the variable objectives where you draw cards and you have to get that objective on that board, or you have to kill 1 unit, or you have to do different things. So I may have had board control on him, but he did more important things than I did, so he ended up winning.
Gotcha.
And so that's another reason why I like the game. You don't have to just play straight up kill and competitive. It's like, shit, I might have beat his army technically, but I didn't capture the objectives I should have to actually beat him.
Right.
And I don't know, it's just fun to do that.
So really you're the asshole who's playing like capture the flag, but you're playing the capture the flag mode or domination mode, but you're really playing team deathmatch by running around and murdering everybody and not getting the team the actual points you need.
Well, I did. I got 9 points though with my Tau gunline army, like an army that sits there, and we were playing a mobile game where things had to jump around the table. And I'm actually really impressed with how well the gunline army did, needing to jump around the table. It was pretty impressive.
I'm excited to try out this army against. I'm assuming it might be your Tower, it might be your Marines, it'll be whatever you choose. You're gonna try and fight me with. But to play I guess I'm gonna call it, put quotes around, say a real game, with command points and stuff, and like probably a smaller game, like you said, 500 points or whatever. But give me a chance to play a real game with some stuff, and maybe I'll get like a random you've gotten screwed the last 2 times I've played with you
Oh,
with deployment, and I'm hoping for something with some sort of deployment thing like that where I can make an interesting move where I get centered and can push out or something.
Yeah. Yeah. You never know what you could get. And we could always thematically make it that way.
Yeah.
But I was thinking maybe orcs against nids. Because how crazy would that be? Just some orcs running up against bugs and then just smashing each other in the middle of the field? Like, how can't you love that?
This is gonna just be. It's gonna be a brawl.
A slaughter fest. A slaughter fest. Orcs have no armor save. You're gonna kill a lot of them, but they're gonna strike back just as hard. So I don't know. I think that would be a really fun game. Then also, I don't know. I've been kind of thinking like running our own little, not tournament, but fun little like crossplay style. Like you or Alex do a match. Alex from Split the Podcast or Split the Party podcast. I always fucking say that. But he's just been getting into it, and he's been getting more nerdy with it because he was originally who I started playing with, and now he took the dive, and his 3D printer is really feeling it after that.
I didn't say last week he was talking about 3D printing stuff, so I don't know what all he's managed to print.
A lot of terrain.
Yeah.
A lot of terrain.
Okay.
Now he's building some more pieces, and like he said, he's building up different random armies already. He just built a 500-point lunchbox army, so that it's like, yeah, I could take this anywhere and play with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, I think we're gonna have a good friends group of 40K, and it's gonna be fun. Then like just do, like I said, a little not competitive, but all right, I play him, you play him. So I'll probably play Evan, you play Alex or something, then switch winners to winners and losers to losers and just see how it goes.
Yeah.
It'll be fun, I think.
Definitely. I'll have to sit down with you again and look at what other units we can find and to round out my team.
Yeah, and
we both had we kind of already had the right idea. So
oh yeah. And you got a really good deal off of eBay at that random dude's selling a codex and pretty much more than a start collecting box.
Yeah.
Which that's what, like 85 plus 40 and
yeah, I think we essentially the way it worked out was I got like the codex for free.
Yeah.
If you count the pieces.
Yeah, you got like $70 worth of free pieces. It was great. And actually that guy messaged me and said thank you to you because we bought it through my account since I already have everything set up on eBay because I have a plastic crack addiction. And not a crack addiction, plastic crack addiction. And he's like, thank you, I really needed the money at this point in time, blah, blah, blah. I hope these nids treat you as well as they treated me. So a good send-off to you and your new bugs. And
nice
know that you actually helped someone who was in need.
There you go. It was nice.
Yeah, it's random when you get like heartfelt messages on
Yeah.
eBay like that.
Right,
I was
yeah.
not expecting it.
Yeah. And I mean, it was nice that he at least was willing to. He didn't stick to his hard price. I mean, he wasn't willing to flex it too much, but the fact that he flexed a little bit, which I think was nice.
Exactly. But I kind of understand that after he said, yeah, I was on hard times and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
So
and again, it was even at the full price. It was still a good deal.
Value.
So it wasn't. He wasn't trying to screw anybody out the gate, anyways.
No. Online interactions are always weird.
They are. You never know what you're gonna get.
Very, very true. Speaking of, as of today, went on my first date-ish thing. I guess probably a date, lunch date with someone I met offline, and it went really well. Very down to earth. Never had any luck with trying to do those dating sites or anything. Actually, I tried to sign up for one because I don't drink anymore. And most of my activities are really nerdy, and so they're very nichey.
Yeah.
Or very solitude. I don't know the correct word for that, but involves solitude, going out in the middle of the woods with a select few people or by yourself and not interacting with people for a weekend.
Right.
So very hard to meet people. And then being in the tech field, I work with like 40 and 50-year-old men and a couple of 30-year-olds. That's about it. So it was a breath of fresh air to meet someone online who wasn't my crazy ex, who actually did find me on a dating site online. And I'm like, yep, nope, not using that one anymore. Signing off, goodbye. And I don't know, was really down to earth. Person has a lot of the same views I do, a lot of the same interests I do. And things, I think, hit off the bat pretty well. So we'll see how that ends up going. It's just weird because it's like actually the first date interest I've engaged in. Going and looking back on it without someone approaching me or whatnot. I've approached them. I started everything off, set up the meeting, set up all that. They agreed, and worked out good. It's surprising and weird. Not used to that. So yeah, there's that.
I mean, I've done the dating site thing before. You know, you meet interesting people.
Yeah.
Depends on what sites you're doing, what's going on. The free sites tend to I mean, because anybody can get a thing. You get a lot of weird people.
Oh yeah, and very doctored photos a lot of the time too.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I was very surprised by that. Like, definitely more attractive than I even thought from the photos. And I was like, man, score.
I mean, because I have a number of female friends who have done the online dating thing too, and from what I can gather, females have it much worse than guys when it comes to online dating. There's frustrations that I've had through online dating, like as a guy when I was trying to do it. But like the stories I've heard from some of my female friends are just atrocious, I think is one of the words I would use. Like they're just awful.
Oh yeah. I've heard some horror stories, and like then I've also had female friends who have told me about what they do on those sites. Just I'm going to get a free meal.
Yeah,
it's like
one thing. As a guy, you do have that. You have people who just want a free meal. You have people, they'll talk to you and talk to you and talk to you, and then all of a sudden they just ghost, and there's no explanation. It'd be nice to be like, hey, sorry, I'm just realize I'm not interested in you. Would be nice. Like for me, that's what I appreciate. I guess I'm just weird though. I did have one person tell me, like when they did tell me, I said, okay, well, good luck. I hope you find somebody. And they're like, wait, that's your response? Like you're not gonna freak? Like no, I'm not gonna freak out on you. You're entitled to not like me. You're entitled to look at me and be like, I'm not attracted to you.
Yeah.
Just like I'm entitled to look at you and say the same thing. I'm not gonna get mad.
Yeah, no point to get mad.
As long as you're being honest with me, what have I to be mad about?
Nothing at all. Honesty is the key policy. Honesty and respect.
Yeah.
And I guess you actually don't find that a lot on dating sites, I'm sure.
Yeah.
More or less of straight up, hey, what are you doing tonight?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, and then when, like, some of the girls will, like, they'll deny a guy, and the guy will just be like, oh, you must be a lesbian. That's the only reason you wouldn't like me, and stuff like that. It's like, well, no, they just don't like you. And now you're being a douche. So there's a really good reason they don't like you.
Exactly.
And that's what it is. But it comes down to, and it's just the way people act. You get people who are just going to use it to hook up. And again, that's a lot of the free sites. When you're paying for it, if you're like to do eHarmony or Match.com, I think both of those pay, then you tend to get people who are more legitimate about what they're interested in.
Yeah.
Not to say that there aren't people who are paying and are just as much of douchebags.
There's a lot of those out there. A lot of them. I don't know. I've never felt, I guess, the same way normal animalistic guys feel or whatnot, because there's a lot of guys out there who just go straight at it, and I'm like, no, I need to be respectful. Like, you can't build a relationship not off respect.
Right. Well, I guess it depends. Like, if I'm looking for a relationship, yes, I want it's you got to be respectful. If you're looking to just get laid, then you're not looking for something serious. You're not trying to be serious.
Yeah, I don't know, and I've never been like that guy to like, I need to have that one night stand. Bam. Like, I don't know. Just never. Always would feel weird, I feel like, to quite do that. I don't know. But I guess I'm not the normal guy.
To each their own.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way that unfortunately goes, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Well, a sleazy one-night stand, speaking of, apparently that porn star gets to talk about her night with Trump.
The Playmate does.
Or Playmate, yeah.
Yes.
Not
well, so I mean,
Playmate.
technically, it's
I don't know.
There's I guess a fine line there somewhere, but the Playmate, his last name's like McDougal or something like that.
McDougal.
I think that's what it is.
Weird name.
I guess she got whatever her deal was. Like she can go out and talk about her stuff, and
she's no longer gagged.
I guess she removed that gag.
No puns intended.
But the porn star Stormy Daniels, she's still gagged.
Oh, there was two of them.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Stormy Daniels was like the first one that, like, I don't know if she was the first one to come out, but she was the first one that made a lot of noise about it, and she's kind of also been the one that's created the most issue for Donald Trump. The porn star kind of came out, and she made a comment about it, because I guess she originally was going to go to the Inquirer, I think is what she was going to go to, but that was
because that's great,
right?
Source.
But I think it was the Inquirer, but whoever she was going to go to was a company that was owned by like the Trump industry stuff or whatever. So they squashed the story. Like they paid her for the story, but they never ran it. They never going to do anything with it. But I guess that is over. She can now talk about it. But with Stormy Daniels, she had a contract or whatever that was written, which apparently Trump says he doesn't know anything about that. So if Trump didn't know anything about that contract that Stormy Daniels wrote or signed, then there's no actual contract. Because if he doesn't know about the non-disclosure, then there's nothing to non-disclose.
Exactly. Yeah.
So she may have signed it, but if he didn't actually sign it, he didn't know anything about it, which is what he's claiming. And she's free to talk.
Yeah, that's true.
And apparently, like, whatever, her lawyer knows something, and he's pushing it. But it's created a whole bunch of issues. I mean, at this point, the FBI raided Trump's lawyer's office, and the number of times that that's happened, you could probably count on one hand. And every single one of those lawyers went to jail.
FBI raiding.
When the FBI raided a lawyer, every single one of them went to jail.
Yeah, I mean,
and the number of times that a president's lawyer was caught up in one of these things with the FBI, this is the only time.
Yeah,
that never
doesn't
happens.
look good. Doesn't look good for that lawyer.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting what he does. They raided him. They took a bunch of stuff that was connected to like the Access Hollywood tapes and things like that. So I guess we'll find out eventually. What's going with that? It'll be interesting how far down the hole this goes.
Do snitches get stitches when you're a lawyer? I don't know.
What was the thing is so Trump and them are trying to claim client lawyer privileges. Confidentiality privileges. And then the FBI goes, I mean, you have them, but if it's related to our case, it's a criminal activity. It doesn't you don't get confidentiality when there's a criminal activity.
Yeah.
Because
there's supposed to be that doctor confidentiality and whatnot when you have a psychiatrist, but if a psychiatrist truly thinks like this guy's gonna go kill someone, they're supposed to report it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how it works with priests because that's religion, and religion is not allowed to be touched because
that's a whole thing.
Bullshit.
I don't know.
They need to pay taxes. Oh, what? Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that stuff's all weird. There's so many stupid rules with it, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. If a lawyer ends up dead somewhere, we know what happened.
Right. Well, yeah, it's a question of will he sell out Trump? I mean, Mueller's been picking apart everyone on Trump's side because it's been a slow takedown, but it's like you see it almost like a mob takedown. I think Mueller, from Ray was telling me, he took down one of the mob bosses. I don't remember which one it was now. But
I mean, you see what he did on the X-Files.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's just been picking people apart, and it's gonna be interesting. There was just some video released about something related to like Trump not paying his taxes and how much money he actually makes and stuff. And so I'm curious. It's a lot of things that are going to add up over time.
Yeah, there's so many politicians who don't do that. I'm pretty sure the Clintons got hit with that, and that whole and like everybody got hit with that with those documents coming out. I can't remember what those were called, like last year or whatnot.
The WikiLeaks stuff.
Yeah,
or
who didn't pay taxes.
Oh yeah. And
there's a lot on that list.
Oh yeah. I mean, you have the money to move your money around to make it look like it's not there and stuff. And
time to launder.
But hey, you poor people, you better pay your taxes.
Exactly. I mean, that's how it goes. I mean, it's ridiculous how much those people up there make. Like in general, in companies and whatnot. Like one of the companies I've worked for, like they've stopped giving raises out a couple of years because they needed to meet their financial goals. But wait, that dude up there is making like almost 7 figures.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How's that work?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Nope.
We're making 7 figures almost, but these guys down here can't get a 1% raise.
Right.
Something's fishy.
Yeah. They don't. Nobody wants to take a pay cut.
No.
So they pass it all the way down, and
people still think the trickle down method works, and it doesn't.
It doesn't. No.
It does not. That CEO is not going to go out and buy everything from his own company to make sure his employees get what they deserve.
Right. It's all kind of it's all messed up. I mean, that's just like the right to work and will to work stuff. It's total BS.
Yeah, the right to work doesn't mean you have the right to work. It means you have the right to be fired for any fucking reason.
Right.
At least in Ohio.
Oh yeah. In any of the states that have that, that's what it is. And the right to or the will to work is a similar thing too.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, let's put a really good name on it so people don't read the fine print
Yep.
and they vote for it because I want to work. Oh, I actually want to be fired because you don't like the color of my shirt.
Right. Yeah.
And that's how it goes.
That is exactly how. I mean,
and
essentially,
that's not why you get fired, but they find a way to fire you and you can't fight it.
right. I think so. I think the will to work is that.
Mm-hmm.
The right to work is essentially an anti-union law.
Okay.
Essentially, is what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
If you read the language of it, it's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy that that's the way that those things are. It's like you don't really care about the working class, is what it is.
Yeah, and the working class is what holds up this country, any country. Like, that's how it works.
Oh yeah.
That it works because people work.
Yeah.
Huh. Think about that.
Right. Yeah. But then you make it so easy to get rid of them.
Yes.
But then if you get rid of them, you can hire somebody else at a cheaper rate.
Mm-hmm. But we can't have immigrants because they work for too cheap and they steal our jobs.
Yes.
So not good, but that's actually what everybody wants.
Right, yeah.
It makes no goddamn sense.
No.
Everybody's looking to pay the smallest amount they can to get the most out of it, but then going around and bitching about who that person they are paying is.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Discrimination, discrimination, judging, all that stuff. It's just so sickening and sad.
That it is. What else? You've been contemplating getting a new car.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I've been working more. I've been saving some money, and I want my Jeep to last. And so, do I go out there and get one of these nice, efficient hybrids that drives like 70 miles per gallon on back roads? Or do I just run this Jeep into the ground and buy a efficient SUV within 2 years? It's one of those things, like I already have a 14, 15-year-old Jeep. I put like 40,000 miles on it in the last 3.5 years. The first year of that was my OVI, where I couldn't really drive it at all. So, yeah, I don't know. So that's like in only like maybe 2.5 to 3 years, I put that many miles on it. And, yeah, it's like, shit. Now I got to decide, do I keep on putting money and maintenance into this and using it every day and keeping that maintenance cost up and fixing everything that breaks? Or do I get another daily car and work out a good payment plan on it, put a good amount of money down on it so I don't have a huge, interest rate and all that stuff. Also, if you buy a new car nowadays, a lot of the time you can get a 0% interest rate. I know a couple of people who've gotten 0%, and that sounds pretty tempting.
Yeah.
And especially if I could get a hybrid. I mean, I got to say, I might own a Jeep, but these Priuses look fucking nice. I know my buddy gets a constant like 70 miles per gallon driving back roads. That's like 4 to almost 5 times the amount of what my Jeep gets at like 17 miles a gallon.
Okay.
And yeah.
So my Challenger gets like 27 on the freeway.
Yeah.
I think I've gotten like driving down to Florida once or twice. I've gotten like 32 or something like that.
Yeah, and I can't even monitor it. And I have a lifted Jeep and I have bigger tires than normal. So not only do I actually probably have more miles on it due to that tire rotation, then it shows, because no matter what, the odometer is going to do one axle rotation and count it on that. But with bigger tires, that axle turns slower.
Yeah,
actually,
well, they're supposed
and
to
you go further distance.
Yeah, they're supposed to recalibrate that stuff. When you get those types of things on, they're supposed to get recalibrated so the computer understands what's going on.
I don't believe that ever happened. I always drive that I'm going 5 miles over the speed limit. Well, if I'm at speed limit, because I've definitely been pulled over for that before, and thankfully the cop understood and he let me go. And with minimal like crap, he didn't put me at what he could have put me at. I think I was at. Well, there was a 45 speed limit, and then it turned into a 35, and he pulled me over at 42, but said I was only going 40 or something. So it was one of those weird things. He's like, just go pay your ticket, and you'll be fine. And I'm like, fine. God damn it. It was one of those speed traps. Yeah, so I know that my speed is definitely higher going than it says it is in the on the speedometer, going past all those speed signs and all that stuff and the things that blink at you when you're going too fast. So unfortunately, it was never calibrated, but in my mind, I just think about it, and I'm okay.
Fair enough.
As long as I'm paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, I want to keep that Jeep for a while. It's a beautiful Jeep. It's lifted. I mean, cosmetically, it has some things that need to be fixed up. I need to replace the windshield and the windshield frame because it cracked during the winter due to, I'm sure, ice underneath of it because it's rusting out. And so do I keep putting more money into it and doing that? Or do I put money enough into it to keep it where it's at right now and get another main car to use and an efficient car that'll soak up my extra insurance, the maintenance cost. It'll pay for all that within itself, and I could guarantee to hopefully have a car, not guarantee to have it for 10 years or so, but have a good chance of keeping a car for actually 10 years. I've only ever had a car for like 4 years at this point. My old Jeep, the transmission went at 4 years. This one's at 3.5 at 115,000 miles, and my other one's 160. So I drive another 2 years with 40,000 miles on it. What's going to happen at 160 or so, 155? Right. I don't know. There's a lot of factors to weigh.
Yeah, there are. I mean, I was looking at getting a truck.
Mm-hmm.
I borrow a truck during the winter from my parents, and I was looking to get a truck so that way I wouldn't have to do that anymore.
Understand.
And I mean, I could probably get the amount of money that I wanted to get to put my down payment down on the truck I wanted, but then as I was thinking about it, I realized I want more money in my savings account before I do that.
Oh yeah.
Not that I'm going to put more down on the truck. Right.
You want to have that cushion.
Yeah, it'd be a much larger, very much larger, like 2 or 3 times larger cushion than what I would have had, and that's what's ultimately changed my mind of like getting a truck by next winter to probably gonna be like 2 or 3 years down the road.
Yeah, and it's a smart decision. And like for me, with my newer job, I could handle the car payment and still put down the good amount of money and still be saving up. So it's one of those things, like, I got to start being an adult and deciding what I want to do. I don't know. I'm going to go to a buddy's dad and talk to him about what he thinks about the Jeep. If we could do the work on the windshield that needs to be done ourselves so that I could prevent the eroding away and the corrosion from the rust and try to keep it in good shape. Because, I mean, I want to tow my boat. I want to be able to go off-roading still.
Right.
But I'm getting older and I don't like the cost. Like I drove out to a game shop half an hour away today, and I'm like, damn, I just used like a fucking quarter tank of gas going to play Warhammer, and that would have cost me 1/3 of what it did just driving a Prius.
Right.
And I mean, a Prius can't tow my boat. It can't do that. So it's one of those things. Do I get one of those now and elongate things, or do I just wait till the Jeep dies and settle for something in between?
I mean, even if you waited until the Jeep dies, depending on how much you put into the Jeep before you finally say, okay, it's dead, you could still have enough money to do what to get a better vehicle, not necessarily be in between. You just won't have both vehicles.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's where things get weird for you, because you have to decide, like for me, like I have my vehicle, which is my Challenger, and I store it away for the winter, and then I pull it out. Like I mean, it had to deal with a couple of snowstorms this year because I got sick of waiting, so I just pulled it out. Got to go wash that this weekend.
I don't blame you though.
But it's like I love my car. It's just 27. It's anywhere between probably 24 on the low end and 27. Usually I average about 27. For me, it's good. It works out well for me. I really haven't had to worry too much because I'm not driving all over the place.
Yeah.
So I still have, I can go week and a half, 2 weeks without having to, fill my tank up, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then the trucks that I was driving all winter, it's like every week or I think my dad's truck, the one Dakota, is newer, so it's got better gas mileage, but it's still pretty low. And I still have to go get gas like every week and a half ish.
Yeah, with the Jeep, I'm definitely doing every week.
Yeah.
And that'd be the one nice thing, like not having to do that every week and saving so much more money on gas. Like, I think I estimated it out. I could at least save $800 a year on gas if I just drive to work in the slight amount of what I'm doing, not if I'm driving all the way there to play a game, all the way back home, or driving a half hour away to visit a friend and all that stuff. Like, there's so many factors other than just driving to work and back home. So, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. It's one of those things you got to kind of balance it out. Like I said, I want to get a truck at some point because like I would like to be able to, if I got a kayak or something like that, to put it into the back and be able to drive it out. I wanted to get a Rebel, so it has more of the off-road type stuff to it, which would be nice because it's less concern for me when I'm like going somewhere. If I decide I'm going to drive further in, I don't have to worry about getting caught.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like, if I did have to compromise for a vehicle, I'd want something that had great gas mileage, which is hard when you're looking for something that can also go off-road and tow.
Yeah.
It's
that's where you start losing.
Counteracting myself right there.
Yeah, that's where you start losing it. And that's the other thing. That's kind of the nice thing for me. Like, if I'm waiting to get this truck, like, by the time the truck I get comes out, I could be seeing, 20 plus miles to the gallon for something that's going to have towing and things like that, 4-wheel drive. And that would be really nice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I don't know what'll happen. Maybe they won't.
Exactly. And it's interesting because, if I wait a couple of years, who knows what Teslas look like then?
Right. Well, and I know, I was going to say, like, I know Tesla was working on a truck, an electric truck. I mean, they're working on, they have those electric semis they were getting ready to put out too. The other thing is, like, if you're waiting for a Tesla, they're having a lot of production issues right now.
Exactly.
So
I don't know that I want to jump on one of those cars.
Right. Maybe in a few years they'll have it kind of figured out. The other issue you got to keep in mind is where the battery and stuff is going to go for charging your Tesla. I don't know how the wiring and stuff around this house is necessarily going to work with that power bank.
Up to that, exactly.
So that's where things get really weird when you start adding those types of things into the older houses.
Yeah, and I don't know. At least like the hybrids are good now. They're pretty good. They're pretty decent. Prius seems to have Toyota seems to have a pretty good deal figured out. Like the Chevys I've looked at online and whatnot, they outright say they're not reliable. But Prius has shown to be pretty reliable for almost 10 years, like running down the road. And they have pretty decent warranties nowadays. 100,000 miles on those batteries, and 100,000 miles is a long time.
Yeah, I think I don't know if you necessarily have to worry about it around here, and I don't even know if they still do it. But I guess at one point the wiring in like those, I think it was the Priuses, they were using like a fat content in their wiring for insulation, and down in Florida, someone had one of those, and it like rodents ate through the wiring to the fat and shorted out the battery and stuff.
Oh, weird. And
they didn't know what it was, and it cost the person like all kinds of money for it. So that's where it was something weird, something random that happened. I don't know what their wiring harnesses are like these days.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like things have gotten a lot better with the whole battery and car type deal. Like the warranties are getting better. It's not as unreliable with things like that. Right. And things should be covered. Obviously, if you're in an accident, you have insurance and whatnot. So if you have a good premium, you'll be okay and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I pay out the ass for insurance because I want to make sure I'm covered when things happen. I don't know. I like having insurance. Insurance sucks to pay for, but it's good to have. My Jeep got stolen. I had to pay $100.
Yeah.
That was it. For a rental car, for all that stuff, for it getting refixed up after I got it back. And that's another point of why I kind of want another car in a way, because I can't guarantee the safety of my vehicle anymore.
Right.
Like, especially after it was stolen. I thought about it before, and that's why I keep my doors unlocked, because you could just go through the windows, all that stuff. Even if you have a hard top, it's not hard to get into a Jeep. All you need to do is jerry-rig something underneath one of the window locks and get right in it. And how easy they are to steal. You can steal it with a screwdriver. That's literally what happened when I went to go pick up my Jeep. I started it with a screwdriver and drove it back home. It was an interesting experience. And then I turned it back off with a screwdriver once I got home. Actually to the shop.
The weird thing with these new cars, excuse me, is the push button starts.
Yeah.
My Challenger has a push button start, right? And I kind of alluded to this before. I have really random issues with things, like things that shouldn't be an issue are an issue for me. My GoPro, if when it's fully charged, it doesn't like to stay on the plug. It wants to be unplugged.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it
Turns
just
off
turns
after
off
7
7 seconds. Yeah.
Weird.
My car, so I have a key fob. That key fob has the infrared, signal to start the car.
RFID.
Yeah,
Yep.
it has the RFID to start the car. When I was living in Florida, we were to go snorkeling and stuff. I had to figure out what to do with the key fob. So there's a key. There's a small key in there that unlocks the driver's side door and the glove box.
Yep.
I had to figure out what to do with this key fob so I could go snorkeling. Can't put the key fob on my waist and get it wet because then it's not going to work and then I can't start my car.
Yeah.
The car won't actually let you lock it inside the car. You have to hide it well enough so the car doesn't recognize that it's in it.
That's
I would lock the door, like hit the button on the side of the door and close the door, and then the car would unlock and honk at me until I found a spot to actually put it in. And it was just frustrating because I'm like,
I need to do this car.
I have the key to unlock my door because I can take that into the ocean, tie it up and take it into the ocean. But the key fob, I can't do that with.
Yeah.
One of the times I just ended up putting the key fob in my friend's car because I got sick of trying to hide it. Occasionally I can find the place to hide it in that I won't have that issue, but it's a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
And it's not a normal problem.
No.
I recognize this is not a normal problem.
Yeah,
but it's
human
my
beings don't have it.
problem.
Yeah, you like to go in the water, and you can't take keys into the water that are all electric.
Yeah.
Maybe one day they'll get good enough to be waterproof, but I know they aren't right now.
I don't see why they couldn't be.
Yeah, I don't. Fitbits aren't even fucking waterproof.
Really?
Yet. Yeah, no, you can't go fucking swimming with a Fitbit. At least most generic models, not generic like not Fitbit, but most of the standard models are not fucking waterproof. They're like, oh yeah, take it off when you wash dishes, go swimming, take a shower.
Really?
And it's like you can't go swimming.
I thought
one
they
of
were
the best activities for your body and track
right
motion, even though it's not walking.
Yeah.
You'll still be able to count that as a workout.
That's weird. I would have thought that they were like just basic waterproof, not like you're not going 10 feet down with the Fitbit, but like
up to 5 feet or so much pressure or something like that.
Dropped it in a puddle. I wouldn't want it to short out.
Yeah, it's water resistant, but it's not waterproof. And water resistance literally you're washing your hands.
Yeah.
Not washing dishes. Specifically says don't wash dishes with it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I looked into it a lot because I got one for my mom so she could track how active she's being. Because for me, it's not great.
I'll have to look into that. My mom's had issues with hers, I guess.
Yeah.
So I wonder, it gets to a point like it doesn't like to connect. I'm wondering maybe that might be what the problem is.
That could be. Yeah, I don't know.
I honestly didn't know that. I've never owned a Fitbit.
Neither have I.
And
For me, I don't see it practical. I
don't
know if I work out or not.
Well, yeah, there's that, but I also don't find Fitbits useful.
No,
I mean,
they're very inaccurate.
Well, it's not even just inaccurate. It's the idea that like you think walking in place. It's just tracking the motion of your hand, right? Like I can sit here and I can move my arm up and down, up and down, up and down. I'm just sitting here, and it's going to track all.
Don't do that. That's awkward, especially keep it out of your lap.
Whatever, you don't have to worry about it. But if it just tracks those movements, so it'll say like I did 50 steps, but I've been sitting here the whole time.
Yep. But you can turn it off.
But and then the other thing is it's not really tracking like, even if you do like, your steps in a half hour, it's just 1/2 hour.
Mm-hmm.
There's all this other inactive time, or you're just tracking like, oh, you did 10 minutes here where you did 100 steps and 10 minutes here where you did, and then it adds it up. But that's not really working anything. That's not really creating a workout. That doesn't make you healthier. And that's why I don't really like them. I feel like they create a false sense of achievement.
Oh, yeah. And for a lot of people, I think that's what it's for, to try to cater to people's insecurities.
Yes. And I like the idea of gamifying like a workout and gamifying health stuff because it gives
you into it.
Yeah, it gives you a reason to get more into it. I'm all for that, but I would want it to be useful and not, like I said, not a false sense of achievement. I want it to be something useful and meaningful.
Exactly. Like, would I ever take one backpacking and be like, oh man, I walked this many miles today for sure? then I look at my map like, fuck no, I didn't walk that many miles. What the fuck is that thing telling me?
Right.
Like, and I don't know. I've just seen so much inaccuracy with them.
Yeah. Speaking of workouts, though, we've been going to the gym. I go to the gym a little more than
Oh
you
yeah,
do.
you definitely hit it more than I do.
I try like 4 times a week. That's my goal.
I try to do 2. I usually at least make it once.
Yeah. And like today I went earlier because you were playing your game. So I went to the gym and I actually walked past the mirror and I went, oh wow. I see that I'm not one of those people who looks at the mirror and like looks at myself, which probably says a lot about me.
Yeah.
Like I just, even when I'm in the bathroom, like I don't pay attention to the mirror and like what change. Like I've seen some of the changes when I look at myself, but like to walk past the mirror on my way out to the gym, I look at it like, wow, I can see a difference from where I was.
Yeah, we've been going for how many months now?
I started.
Yeah, you started
like
before me.
November, I think.
Yeah.
No, like late October, November is about when I started.
Yeah, and I mean things are starting to show. Like a constant workout makes a difference.
Oh yeah, and I've been doing the protein drinks and stuff. So I've been protein loading, which has helped out a lot as well.
Oh yeah, it helps you build.
So
it helps the muscles regain what they lost from the workout, and especially when you pull your muscles or whatnot. Like the idea is sometimes to go slower to actually rip the muscle so that it can rebuild itself up even stronger. Sometimes you need the pain to get the gain. And yeah, I've definitely noticed a change in my body. What would you call it? Physique and build. I mean, I don't know how much I weigh. I hardly ever weigh myself. I'm not as much of an hourglass shape anymore. I mean, I still have that, but I'm not as defined of an hourglass as I used to be.
I'm not as lumpy as I once was. I
See?
sit here and I'm like, I mean, there's still fat. Like I'm not skinny. I'm not like muscularly built, but there's muscle building and there's not as much fat there. So it's interesting. It just for me to see it and like to actually notice it go, oh wow, I am actually doing something here.
Yeah, like my arms they're noticeably like getting a little bit bigger. I don't got fucking guns, but I feel good about the little gains that I've got. And like I put on a shirt the other day and I'm like, because I've worn the same fucking clothes since high school. It hasn't changed much. My wardrobe's about the same and got added to though. And I put on a shirt and I'm like, shit, it kind of feels tight in the back of the shoulders. Interesting. That's odd. And it just didn't feel the same as like it used to. And so I'm starting to notice a little bit of difference here and there. It's nice. Yeah. It's for sure nice.
Definitely.
Cat just crawled out from underneath a cabinet
thing. Yeah.
Buttons, you're weird.
I saw him like reaching under there at one point, and then I looked away. And the next time I look back, he's crawling out. And I'm like,
yep.
All right, cool.
He's the weird one.
What's going on here?
They all are. They take after me.
But yeah, no, it's going to the gym has been like I've made a habit of going. So I go. And if I got last week, I was kind of down with some sinus issues, so I ended up going on Monday, but then after that I didn't go. Probably could have gone on Thursday, but I decided I would just take it off. I would start fresh this week, and I started fresh. I definitely noticed that I started fresh, and I made an extra day out of it just because I felt like I didn't get a good enough workout earlier in the week, and I feel like it's
like I don't even like Wednesday when I went. I felt not being there the week before as much. I definitely felt it. It's weird. So it's like, man, I do need to keep going more often. I do need to keep going regularly because I do like the results I'm getting, and I do like feeling better. I feel better.
Oh, yeah,
in general.
Definitely feel better in general, and I enjoy like when I walk around, I don't feel as I'm as hunched over. Like I feel my posture is.
He's doing it.
Yes, he is. He is doing it.
Oh, sorry. Buttons is doing this weird thing where he like puts his arms up by the wall, then he like tilts his head backwards. I don't know why I'm like motioning it when no one can see this, but tilts his head backwards and like does an exorcist head roll. And it's the weirdest thing ever. I'm going to try to have to get it on camera for someone sometime. A couple of you out there will know what I'm talking about, and it's just so weird.
Yes. But yeah, I feel different with my posture, which is nice. Like I don't feel like it's slunched over. I feel my back is like holding my shoulders up more and stuff. And it's
I don't have as much back, not necessarily pain, but discomfort from when my back broke. as I used to, because it feels like there's more muscle supporting my spine, especially because I had the T12 break, and that's like your thoracic right in the middle of your back. And it just feels better in general now. Like dishwashing, actually, one of the oddest things ever. That used to hurt the most because the slight bend over, and what happened was I got a compression fracture, and so it pretty much took my rectangular T12 and made it into a pizza slice. And so it eventually grows back a little bit, reforms a little bit, but there's always going to be that tension in the front where it was crushed. And I don't feel as bad washing dishes anymore, slightly hunched over as I used to.
Nice.
And everybody used to be like, oh, that's just an excuse not to do dishes. I'm like, yeah, I fucking hate doing dishes, but weirdly enough, that is the activity that inflames it or does whatever the most.
I mean, I understand that because when I've done dishes before too, I can feel it down my spine, like just it's the pain from being there, and I guess just feeling stiff from doing it, and then like I'll have to like stop and stretch and move, and like it just hurt. And I would get that from time to time. So like to an extent, I can understand where you're coming from.
Well, we have some issues to work on, but we're personally getting there. We're getting there, Tom.
We are.
And we're doing good.
One issue at a time.
One issue at a time. And with that, guys, get out there. Do what you need to do. Start feeling better about yourself, whatever it takes, as long as it's productive and not shooting people in the ankle.
Yes. Don't do that.
And with that, we have come full circle. And so we shall see you next issue on Geeks with the Podcast. I'm Sam.
I'm Tom.
Signing out.
Later.
Signing out.
Later.
Signing out.
Later.
Signing out.